Watching this video, you help poor animals. We'll transfer $1,000 to the rescuer from this video, just after it gets 1 million views. All the details at the end of the video. While feeding stray animals, animal shelter workers saw an injured dog. The dog had a badly wounded leg. He could not step on it. Leg was missing flesh on it partially. Perhaps the poor guy fell into a trap and suffered from it. People took the wounded dog to the hospital, where doctors began to treat his leg. Now it remains only to wait and pray for his recovery. After medical help, he will be taken to the shelter. The rescuers from Animal Shelter Channel received a terrifying message. A dog was found whose jaw almost fell off due to his mouth being tied with a rope. The exhausted animal was caught and urgently taken to the doctor. After examining the patient, the veterinarian made a disappointing speech. The upper and lower parts of the mouth could no longer be saved. A doctor removed the hopeless parts of the jaw as well as the nose. Part of his face is now uncovered, but to great joy, Chris is feeling better now. At first, he could not eat because of the operation and was very thin, but now the dog is getting well. The owners of this poor small puppy chained him to the gate and left him without food or water. It's not known how long the puppy was in such a situation. When the rescuer came to the puppy, it was impossible not to cry. The puppy was emaciated and sick. The young man freed the prisoner, gave him water and food. The puppy literally pounced on the food. Apparently, the baby was without any food for a very long time. After feeding the starving puppy, the man examined him more closely. He found ticks, fleas, fungus, and swelling on the poor thing, which made it clearly painful for the baby to go to the toilet. The savior cleaned the puppy's ears and took him home to take the baby to the doctor the next day. Now he has a man who loves him and cares for him. Arriving on call about an abandoned dog, rescuers were shocked by how many ticks were on this dog. There were at least 100, if not thousands of them. They sucked all the strength out of the poor fellow. The emaciated dog was waiting for the help of a man, and rescuers took her to the veterinarians. The doctors immediately began the process of cleaning the poor creature of ticks. The doctors removed the ticks from the poor dog's body step by step. The dog did not resist. For hygienic reasons, her coat was shaved. After making sure to remove the last tick, the doctors began treatment. They gave her a personal cage. She was happy to receive her home with constant food and care. This puppy was most likely hit by a car. The kid was lying with no signs of life, and from a head injury, blood was coming from his nose. But his heart was beating. The rescuers had hope only in God, and he helped. The puppy raised his head the next day, and on the third day he could already eat. The kid really wanted to live, and one might say he climbed out of the afterlife. It's impossible to look without pain at this dog that rescuers have found. The dog sat still and was disoriented. Her eyes popped out. The heart of the rescuers was bleeding, and they urgently took the dog to the veterinary clinic. It was already 11 in the evening, and the doctors went home, but the rescuers found a doctor who was able to perform the operation right now. He had to remove the dog's eyes. The dog was named Dodo. A month after the operation, smart Dodo was already eating well. And after another month, she fully recovered and now lives happily, relying on smell, touch, and hearing. It's not known why a rope was on this poor fellow's head, but this rope inflicted terrible pain on him. In time, the rope pressed more into his head, and deep wounds began to appear. Blood oozed from the wound, and larvae were already beginning to appear in the meat. The bull was in pain until people from Animal Aid Unlimited India found and rescued him. Rescuers freed the guy and treated his wound. They fought for his recovery for many weeks. Efforts were good, and now the wound of this poor boy has healed and no longer causes him pain. The guys at For Paws save animals every day. On this day, they saved a couple of lives. They went on a call to rescue a little kitten who lives under a shipping container. It wasn't difficult for them. They quickly caught the baby and placed it in a carriage. However, right after leaving the place of rescue, they received another call asking for help. The kitten got hit by a car. The baby was carefully taken out and taken to the hospital. It's not known how badly the poor thing suffered. We can only hope that the baby will recover soon and everything will be fine. Viktor Larkhill is not one of those who will pass by an animal in a difficult situation. He was asked to help the dog that was found in front of the gates of the human hospital, and Viktor came to the rescue. The street dog had a gigantic tumor. The boy was put to sleep and he had a CT scan. The results were not encouraging. An urgent operation was required, and it was carried out on the same day. The dog was named Duke. The very next day, the dog was cheerful and active. After quick recovery, Duke emigrated to Germany to his happy new home. Dr. David Sheldrick of the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust flew from Nairobi to the Mara for emergency surgery. The 11-year-old lioness needed emergency help. From the encounter with the buffalo, her side was deeply cut. The doctor stitched up her terrible wounds. The operation lasted more than an hour and required a lot of effort. Thanks to the joint efforts of the rescuers, the lioness was able to return to her pride again. Rescuers at Animal Aid Unlimited have made an incredible rescue. They rescued a hopelessly wounded dog. She had a horrific wound in her head, and bones of her skull were visible. The flesh was being eaten by maggots. The dog hurt from every touch. They gave her sedation and started cleaning. Every day, specialists fought for her life. It took many weeks for the dog to recover. They named him Joseph. Now he has recovered and is happy again with every day of his life. Abdul Sammi is a hero. He himself saved a wounded street dog. A piece of flesh was torn off from the dog's shoulder. In the wound, there were many worms. The dog suffered terribly. Abdul took the dog home. He cleaned and treated the wound. The guy used both medicines and folk remedies. The injured dog began to recover quickly and was already running around the yard of his rescuer. Now the dog has a good owner, and Abdul has a loyal friend. Since March, little owls started arriving at Wildlife Aid, and specialists made every effort to treat the birds. There was even one owlet with a broken beak. It looked scary, but the doctors performed a miracle to restore his beak. If not for the doctors, the baby would not have been able to recover in the wild. Now, several owls have already been released. Those are the magical moments which people at Wildlife Aid work for. Thank you for watching this video and helping poor animals doing this. Choose the rescuer you want to help most and write the name of the organization in the comments below. On reaching 1 million views on the video in less than 3 months, we'll count all the comments and transfer $1,000 to the rescuer you'll choose. That's all for now. See ya!